robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
How you doing, Jason?
I'm great. This fires me up.
Yep. Football season is here. People will drink booze. The Raiders have 17 games, of which at least 10 they will lose. The autumn wind is a loser. AB, by the way, speaking of Raiders, I'm trying to sucker him into a side bet because he's not with me on the Bears. Bears going to have a better record than the Raiders, Jason. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think they're. I would say they will.
That's because you're a normal, free-thinking, intelligent person.
Yeah, but I want the Raiders to be good. I like the Raiders.
I want the Raiders to be good too, but I also,
the greatness is in their future.
I want my wife and Charlize Theron to become best friends, and we all move in together. But there's a reality, and there's
gross.
I mean, they were 8-9 with all that chaos last year.
Yeah, they were. And
the coaching disaster, not a great QB.
Mm-hmm.
Still found it 8-9.
As opposed to this year where they've solved that quarterback issue.
Not that part, but maybe the coaching part. Hopefully they think the coaching part.
Also, a lot riding on Zamir White, right?
Yeah, I like their defense, honestly, better than their offense. In the past, I think their offense has been okay, and their defense has been a mess, but I think the Raiders' defense will be okay.
All right, let's get into our predictions.
Okay.
Let's start with the big one. Jason Ross, your league MVP.
All right. Well, it always feels like Patrick Mahomes has it's like LeBron, right? Every opportunity to win this, you have to almost take him off the ledge. But, I don't know how many wins the Chiefs are going to get in the regular season, similar to last year. So other guys may end up with better stats. I'm going to throw a flyer, a little bit of a dart. He's a great quarterback, but I'm going to put him up here. I'm going to go Joe Burrow.
Interesting. And by the way, I don't say that like that's a dumb pick. Interesting in the sense that you're looking for a big year out of Joe Burrow.
Well, we've all put Cincinnati in the postseason. I think they're going to be good. They were good last year without him playing enough, and he's got good weapons. He's a big part of their offense. If they have the year that I think they're going to, give me Joe Burrow.
So I don't hate that pick at all, and I'm with you on Mahomes. Mahomes is the MVP. I can tell you, Mahomes is the MVP before the season starts. But I'm with you. It's the old Milton Berle thing where you're gonna leave they're leaving a lot in the tank. They know exactly what they need to do and how they need to do it, and for that reason, I'm not saying Mahomes is going to have good numbers, but he knows what he needs to do in the playoffs and what he needs to save. I love your Burrow pick. I'm really tempted. You talked about taking a flyer. This is where I thought you were going to go. I have a weird feeling Dak Prescott's going to be off the charts this year. Good.
I did think about him.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? I'm gonna go with Josh Allen of the Bills. I think he's just gonna be ridiculous. And I think Keon Coleman is really gonna be a great addition. Now he did lose Stephon Diggs, but I think Josh Allen's gonna be fantastic. I think this is the year for him, and of course it's gonna be a quarterback because it has to be a quarterback by law, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Moving on in predictions, I'll go first here. Surprise team. I think I've kind of let into it. Yep, I'm a sucker for Hard Knocks. I don't know if you can call the Bears the surprise team, but again, I am beyond the Hard Knocks stuff. I think Caleb Williams is going to be fantastic. I really, really do. This kid at USC was ridiculous, and he's shown no. Look, I'm comparing him to Patrick Mahomes only in the sense that he just seems like a Swiss Army knife, a guy who can throw the deep ball, He can throw from all these insane angles. He's mobile as hell, and he has that kind of eyes in the back of his head thing when the pocket collapses. Now he's a rookie, and he's going to make dumb rookie mistakes. But when you have the backfield they have, which is a good deep backfield, Cole Kmet at tight end is great. You bring in Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze. You add that to DJ Moore, who was a 1,000-yard receiver last year with a bad quarterback or a not great quarterback. You put all that together, plus the Vikings, with no disrespect to Christopher Laud, I think are kind of out of the mix. I already had the Packers missing the playoffs as well. I think there's going to be some room. Again, 7-10 last year. They have improved immensely. I do think they're going to sneak in this year.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's a lot of love for them, which is fun to see after all these years of some struggles. The surprise team for me, and I say surprise in a sense that I guess I didn't put them in as one of my 4 in because they were not a playoff team last year. They only won 5 games last year. But I can't think of a team over the last 10 to 15 years that has lost more games in where they invented ways to lose, and that's the Chargers. And I don't know that I have these huge expectations for him, Dave, but I just think from 5-12, just adding Coach Harbaugh, attention to detail, he's a bit of a wackadoo, but they lost way too many games over the last couple of years that they had no business losing. And if they just clean some of those up, maybe they're 9-8. It's not like they're expecting them to go to the Super Bowl, but I just feel like from where they were at 5-12, I really feel like they're going to be a team that could be a playoff threat and just a completely different looking team.
Finally, when it comes to predictions, we get to the big one.
The biggest of them all.
Now, are we going 2 here? Who will be and who will win the Super Bowl?
Sure.
All right. You start this one then, Jason. Who is your Super Bowl matchup?
Okay. My Super Bowl matchup. I'm not going to overthink, but I know how difficult it is to get back there. But I am putting the 49ers back there.
Okay.
I think they make it. I think it's going to be tough. It just always is. There'll be ups and downs during the season, but I believe in their roster. Of course, they're motivated to get back. I think they got the goods to get back. And amongst the NFC, I think the Cowboys are really good. But the Niners have been able to show that they can do it at a better clip. So I'm going to put the Niners in there. And a little bit of a surprise here. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but I have them in the Super Bowl. For some reason, I'm riding the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow, you are basically Paul Brown. You're a Bengal.
Yes, I got the tattoo. I'll show it. It says Bengals Super Bowl in 2025. Yeah, I think that's a good roster. Look, 2 years ago, they were in the conference championship. 3 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. Last year, they were hurt. I think it's a good roster, a good team, if I'm believing that much in Burrow. I think the AFC is brutal, though. Gosh, you can make candidates for the Chiefs, obviously the Ravens, lots of teams. Someone's going to get through. I'll go for a flyer here on the Bengals.
I can't really poke holes in that. I do worry about Chase. I worry about adjusting to life without Joe Mixon, although I just pointed out I think they'll make the playoffs after missing it last year because that's not a huge deal. It's going to be the most boring thing in the world, but I'm sometimes it's the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I just can't not pick the Chiefs and Niners again. You explained everything with the Niners. If we're talking about threats to them, there are legit threats. I think there's 3. I think there's a grand total of 3 legitimate threats in the NFC. The Cowboys, the Eagles, and I don't want to forget about the Detroit Lions.
Right.
Team on the up that was in the lead in the NFC Championship in San Francisco last year. That was really their first year on the scene. And I don't buy that Philly all of a sudden became terrible. I think there were things going on in that locker room, things last year. They were waiting for the offseason. I don't think remember, they were 10-1 going into that game, something like that. I don't buy that now they're all of a sudden just lame. And I will use the old Chuck Liddell method I've explained many times. I bet against and bet against and bet against Chuck Liddell until I just stop doing it. Said until he loses, I ain't betting against him ever again. The same thing with the Chiefs. Until I see, I don't care what the record is after 10 games. I don't care what the score is in the playoff game. I don't care until the clock has triple zeros and the Chiefs have less points than the other team. They're going to be my Super Bowl favorite, period.
Okay.
And a statement, which goes into our next conversation, which is who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Obviously, I want I want the Niners to win more than anything. I can't pick against the Chiefs until they lose. If you're asking me, I got to be non-biased. I got to say Kansas City.
Okay. Makes sense. And I mean, at this point, if I'm getting Niners Bengals there, I've been riding that Bengals bandwagon. I don't even know if there's a bandwagon, but that's where it ends. I'd pick the Niners to finally do it.
We'll take a break. When we come back, as the show rolls on to 10 a.m.,